From cheers of the fans to the crack of the bat, learn it all from Jimbo, Gabe, Mike, and Matt. Giving thoughts on all public teams, whether times are boom or if they are lean. Hero players that you should know, not only the good things, highs and the lows. Here it is, we're ready to go. Please enjoy the podcast. On with the show.
Good morning, good evening, and good everything in between, and welcome to the podcast, our first show of 2026. I'm your host, Jimbo Bernicki. I'm joined as always by Mr. Gabe Barman. How you doing, Gabe?
The World Baseball Classic will have started by the time this episode goes up. I'm staying up a little bit later than usual to watch the first game of it. I subscribed to my local sports network just to watch the WBC, and boy howdy, I am so hyped for Pacific League Baseball to be back. We've got real games in 3 weeks. Are you not ready to be entertained?
We are so close. Not only real games in 3 weeks for Pacific League, but as you said, the WBC is as right around the corner as we could possibly be, just a couple hours away. And we are joined also by Mr. Michael Beasley. How you doing, Mike?
Doing well. I leave for Japan Friday afternoon. Hopefully I'm able to catch some of the rounds over there. Probably won't be able to get a ticket for a Team Japan round, but some of the other teams are going to be pretty fun and cool, and looking forward to the start of the season shortly.
Yep, baseball, so much baseball is right around the corner. It feels like, you know, when you're at the top of a great roller coaster and it's about to drop headfirst like 90 degrees into an absolute slew of fun. We've got Pacific League coming up, and we've got the WBC coming up. So, of course, our top story, because it is sooner. Gabe, what do you have for us on the WBC front this season?
So it's interesting to see not just the participation from the Pacific League teams to Samurai Japan, last year's champions, 3-time champions, and probably going to repeat this year if everything goes as planned, but also their contributions to other clubs. You know, you've got great representation on Chinese Taipei, Gulin Ruiyang, and Sun Yi Lei, Su Joshi, who just signed with the Hawks, Bo Takahashi helping out with Brazil, member of the Lions. Cuba, of course, you've got Levon Moinelo.
Woo!
And Alfredo Despaigne still kicking around.
Woo!
And Ariel Martinez. Forgot about him. And then over on Venezuela, Andres Machado got nominated as a reserve player, an injury replacement. Very interesting to see how he pitches out of the bullpen. Oh, and Jeter Downs for Nicaragua. Man, there's a lot of representation. But yeah, it's most of the players are going to Samurai Japan, of course. And I feel like the Pacific League has more players than the other league, and even MLB were contributing a lot, especially seeing how the manager has been starting Sosuke Genda human highlight reel over Kaito Kozono at shortstop. Very interesting choice there.
Well, I mean, he brings a lot of defensive help, and obviously the team's gonna need a lot of that in this WBC because, man, a lot of the teams are stacked. But I firmly believe I am of the camp that Japan is going to win it all again this year. But man, America and the DR are going to give them a run for their money. Mike, what do you see going on in this tournament this season?
Don't know much about a lot of the some of the like every team. I do believe that the DR is really scary. Cuba, what did Cuba place last tournament? They didn't make it out of pool play, right? I think they might not
they
make it out
did.
of
They
pool.
were
They
the
did.
Pool A winner.
Oh my God!
They just
You're
got
right. Yeah.
curb stomped by the U.S. in the semifinal.
I kind of feel like everything's going to basically go the exact same. We might have a cool rematch, or I think the DR is just going to go off, and then we might see Japan versus the DR again. I believe that was that 20. Did the DR beat Japan at one point? What year was that?
I can't remember.
I think it might have been 2013.
2013, they won it all, but they weren't playing Japan in the final.
Oh, okay. I feel like that might be a really fun matchup, and I think there's a good chance of that happening.
I think Mexico's got a shot this year. They made it to the semifinals last year and only needed a Murakami walk-off double to drop that game.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that game. Yeah, you're right.
That game was
still,
insane.
though, I mean, they are solid, but
The Canadian team finally gets out of pool play for the first time in its history.
yeah, that's not happening.
Team Canada beat the Phillies. There's your banner.
Wow.
Enjoy.
What a banner. Team Canada is the 27th best team in the major leagues.
You can put it up against the 93 banner, side by side.
There you go. Ouchie,
Mm.
ouchie, ouchie,
Mm.
ouchie.
Can we start with around the horn?
How dare you? But yeah, I have absolutely full faith in Japan. I am definitely going to be making. I know I saw on the early slate we have Japan Korea coming up this weekend. That I'm getting up for at 5 a.m. to watch. Definitely good practice for the rest of the games we're going to have on our schedule. Speaking of, actually, do we have any confirmation regarding the games we're going to be showing this year?
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. A couple of weeks ago, we have our first 3 midnight matinee games confirmed. All 12 a.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific, the previous day starts. So we got the Easter long weekend, Sunday, April 5th, as the Chiba Lotte Marines host the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. We got Sunday, April 26th, as the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles host the Saitama Seibu Lions. And then Memorial Day weekend, Sunday, May 24th, as those same Lions host the Orcs Buffaloes.
And so, as is tradition here, we are going to do our around the horn. That is to say, where we take a look at all the teams from top to bottom based on where they were last year. Starting off with our defending Pacific League champions and Japan Series champions, the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. They've been pretty quiet this offseason, but have still had a big signing from Taiwan in Sujo-si, as Gabe mentioned earlier, and I'm looking forward to him producing this year. But also, last year they traded for Yuto Akihiro from the Giants, and he's been playing really well so far in spring ball. So I have the utmost faith that the Hawks are going to repeat this year, of course, naturally, because all that held us back from dominating last year was injuries and bullpen trouble, and we resolved that. Everyone's going to be healthy. Everything's going to be a great time, and I think the Hawks are going to dominate again this season. Do you guys see anyone challenging the Hawks, or should we just move on to the other teams?
So Sue's an interesting acquisition, not just because the PL has started to go after the Taiwanese league a lot more. You saw Sung Cha-hao come over, Wang Po-jung, Gulin Rui-yang, and Sun Yi-lei. But let's talk about what Su Jo-si did. Not only did he win Taiwan Series MVP in 2023, he started, 2 or 3 games and pitched shutout baseball in both. He also then picked up 2 All-Star nods the following 2 seasons. So he's coming in at age 25 on the upswing in his career. And he joins a stacked Hawks rotation. They don't miss the loss of Kohei Arihara to free agency much, especially since Carter Stewart Jr. is coming back.
Yeah, right. I forgot to mention Carter Stewart Jr. is back, and also Arihara was kind of the biggest loss of the offseason, but that's, again, now that we've got Jose and Stewart Jr., I think they'll be all right. But I've been optimistic before and proven wrong, though not last season. And so let's kick it over to the only team that I see posing any threat to them in the Pacific League, the second-placed Hokkaido Nippon Fighters. How have they been doing this offseason game?
Some very interesting acquisitions over the offseason, including a couple of reunions with players from the 2016 team that, with Shohei Ohtani, won the Japan Series. Starting pitcher Kohei Arihara picked up his second ring after winning it with the Hawks last year, and he's led the Pacific League in wins each of the last 2 seasons. In 2024, he even put up a 2.36 ERA. He signed a 4-year deal to take him through his age 36 season. The Fighters spending money is something I'm still not quite used to, but it's great to see them giving the Buffaloes and Hawks a run for the big budget deals. Haruki Nishikawa, an outfielder, also comes home after short stays with the Eagles and the Swallows. Nishikawa has led the Pacific League in stolen bases 4 times and picked up 4 Golden Gloves. Definitely seeing him as a bounce-back candidate. Lord knows Big Boss Shinjo can work his magic. One other acquisition via trade, pitcher Hiroya Shimamoto from the Tigers, with catcher Torai Fushimi going back the other way, shows the confidence that the Fighters have in both Kengo Yoshida and Yu Tamiya to handle the catching tandem that Fushimi became expendable. 2 new foreign signings, Rodolfo Castro on the infield and Sarin Lau on the pitching staff. I do like that Castro's already acquired a nickname of Katchan with his teammates and is learning Kansai dialect. He had some decent work with the Pirates in 2021, but fell off a little bit, so it'll be interesting to see how he translates to the foreign game. Lau, on the other hand, has primarily been a AAA pitcher in the Nationals and Mariners systems, but he's only 26. On the way out from the Fighters, Go Matsumoto, I think he was a batting champion in 2022. Still, that's a very crowded outfield to break into between Yazawa, Manami, Mizutani, Asama, and Isobata. Good luck. Mazel
Where do
tov to infielder Yuki Nomura for tying the knot and marrying during the offseason. The 25-year-old was interviewed by Sports Hochi and mentioned that both his wife and he split domestic duties. He started to get a handle on cooking things in the kitchen, although both the dishes he named were potato-based. Might be a learning curve there. Tsuyoshi Shinjo, the manager of the Fighters, is calling for 96 wins in a press conference he held yesterday. He originally was thinking 100, but he decided to be realistic. Tall order. No NPB team has ever won 100 games in a season. Lefty starting pitcher Satya Yamazaki has been tinkering with a screwball this offseason, learning it from legendary lefty screwballer Masahiro Yamamoto when Yamamoto did some guest coaching for the Fighters. Screwballs, of course, travel the opposite way that a slider does, so they'll be more tricky for a right-handed batter. A better Yamazaki makes that rotation all the more devastating. Two fun pieces of news for the Fighters, both of which involve food and drink. Oh my gosh. Guys, I have to go to Japan soon. Tower 11, that's the hotel in left field at Escon Field, Hokkaido, has unveiled its craft room. Not just nicely appointed finishes, not just things that combine nature of Hokkaido with baseball aesthetics, but there's a craft beer tap in the room. That's really impressive and dangerous.
Homer drooling sounds.
Yeah, stick it right in my veins. One last piece of news, the new food options at Escon Field. They like to bring the players in to help drive some of the flavor options. Yuya Gunji, third baseman, contributed a crab cream pasta, while the aforementioned Yuki Nomura brings a Loco Moco, that's a Hawaiian burger with egg on top of rice, that uses pickled onions and plums to play with flavor profiles. Personally, I think my favorite of the player gourmet dishes is Yu Atamiya's Hokkaido Wagyu beef curry with fluffy egg on top. I'm glad we're recording this podcast after I ate.
Oh god, if we had video of my face hearing all that. Just, oh.
For more information on those dishes, go check out pacificleague.com/en for the news article.
And so after all that, which has made me very hungry and my goodness, am I looking forward to the Fighter season even from afar, we're going to kick it over to the third place team in our standings, the Oryx Buffaloes. Take it away again, Gabe.
Two notable free agent acquisitions, both foreign players. One, Bob Seymour, first baseman, has a huge opportunity to break in with the club with Yuma Tongu injured to start the season. So Seymour has that first base slot more or less to himself, especially if he repeats his 2025 season when he won Rays Minor League Player of the Year, hit 30 home runs, and put up an 880 OPS in AAA. The other acquisition, Son Jella, is just huge. Second tallest player in NPB history, 213 centimeters. The only pitcher taller, another Pacific Leaguer, Luke Van Mill, who pitched for the Eagles in 2014. And of course, Jella's North American team was the Giants, the San Francisco ones. It'll be interesting to see how he handles a foreign league, and more importantly, how foreign batters will fare against such a tall and imposing opponent. The Buffaloes played a pair of exhibition games against WBC teams last week, and they showed just how talented this club can be. They beat Samurai Japan 4-3 and gave Korea's team a scare, only losing, I think, 6-4 or 6-5. Old man Yoshihisa Hirano in particular struck out the side in an inning of work against Korea, so he's still got what it takes to perform. Young starter Naruki Teranishi went 2 scoreless innings against Samurai Japan. He mentioned he was working on his forkball during the offseason. Definitely helped. And it was so good to see former Buffalo Masataka Yoshida performing in front of his home fans. These exhibition games were at Kyocera Dome, and he sure enough hit a home run against the Buffaloes earlier this week. Good sign from pitcher Seiryu Kotajima returning from elbow surgery, throwing a clean inning with one strikeout earlier yesterday. And also recovering, Yuki Udagawa, WBC hero from 2023 and Buffalo's fireman in 2022. Still returning from Tommy John surgery, but he is throwing bullpens. Now it's just a matter of ramping up his velocity. He's only lost 7 kilometers an hour on his fastball. Former Rookie of the Year Shumpeta Yamashita has revealed a new cutter in his spring training game on the 25th. That adds to a fastball, curveball, and power fork. You add another pitch to that mix, suddenly he might be back in the conversation for among the best pitchers in the league. And pending Mazel Tov to pitcher Anderson Espinoza, who had to scamper back home to Venezuela to support his partner in her childbirth. He mentioned he liked the name Kenzo for a boy. I guess he wants to honor the country of his current employer.
And so now we're going to kick it over to the team that just missed out on the playoffs last year, and I think might be a sneaky team to get in this year, but we will see. The Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles. Take it away, Mike.
For the Eagles, there's a bunch of signings with that Rakuten money. For the foreigners, a pair of pitchers in Jose Urena, who spent 2025 with the Mets, Jays, Dodgers, Twins, and Angels, and Roansy Contreras, who spent 2025 with the Orioles and Rockies. For the outfield, they have Carson McCusker, who debuted in 2025 with the Twins, only appearing in a handful of games at the tail end of the regular season. Excitingly, Kenta Maeda has finally returned back home to Japan at the age of 40, and he has signed with the Eagles instead of his former other league team. And Hikaru Ito behind the plate is joining from Yokohama. And of course, what is free agency without some departures? Sad to see, but Takehiro Norimoto heads to the other league in free agency. He's with the Giants now as he joins the growing Unk squad over there.
Unk squad. Represent Unk squad.
Let's go, Unks.
And so that brings us over to the Saitama Seibu Lions, who missed the playoffs last year, but I am very excited about where they are looking at for this season because they managed to grab a big free agent signing by way of Masayuki Kuwahara over from the Bay Stars in the other league. He's a big addition to their outfield, which is getting a little bit crowded with Nishikawa and Seiya Watanabe, but it's never too bad to have too many players at such important positions. And they also got some other signings by way of Alexander Canario and Alan Winans as foreign faces to add to the team. And, you know, in sort of like a good news, bad news situation, they did lose Tatsuya Imai, but Kono Takahashi will be coming back this season. And, I mean, I know he had like this very infamous problem with not being able to win games, but we know that wins and losses aren't indicative of how good a pitcher is. It's the other stats. And Kono Takahashi's been pretty good, just very unlucky when it comes to winning and losing. I think that's because of some run support, but we will get to that in just a minute. They also managed to pick up Kazunori Ishii over from the Fighters, who will be a great addition in terms of depth. And honestly, this season, with the Lions, I feel like they're about to go through a very funny flip where the last couple seasons they've had great pitching and not that great offensive support. And now it looks like they're really shaping up with great offensive support with Watanabe, Nishikawa improving, and first-round pick Taiga Kojima from Meiji University looks like he's going to be a stud at catcher. And I just think it would be so funny. I've got a really good feeling about the Lions this season. Maybe they'll make the playoffs. We'll see how that goes. But to cool the heat and make sure everyone can deal with how brutally hot the Balloonadome is, the Lions are implementing new cooling measures at the Balloonadome, very large umbrellas to cool down fans if they're just sitting right outside of the dome, because I've heard the dome does get infamously toasty. I hope to go check it out very soon one day. But yeah, I think the Lions are heating up in a good way, even though they also might be heating up in a very literal way, but they have the umbrellas to help them cool down. What do you guys see for the Lions this coming season? Do you think they're going to be close?
The Pacific League's taking other steps to make sure fans stay cool as well. You'll notice in the schedule, all the outdoor stadiums do not have midday games, even on weekends, after May. It's thrown a bit of a spanner in our scheduling for the midnight matinees. You'll notice all 3 of the games I announced were in those outdoor ballparks and not the domes. Although it's called Balloonadome, it's still open to the elements and the weather. So good on the Lions for taking steps to keep their fans cool. For Takahashi, it's an interesting return back. I mean, he had an ERA under 3 as of late August, so it's not like he's coming back as some bum. He is a good starting pitcher. Like you pointed out, Jimbo, just unlucky. Kuwahara coming over, very interesting to see. 74 home runs, put up a 700 OPS over 1,200 games with the Bay Stars from 2012 to 2025, and won Japan Series MVP in 2024 when they beat your Hawks. Ha. They could be sneaky good this year.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, I'm very specifically looking forward to Kojima at catcher. I think he's going to be a great player right out the gate for them. He was their guy they really zeroed in on the draft, and really excited. I've seen some good videos of him crushing it at batting practice, as you can see on Pacific League TV. So check that out on this channel.
I mean, the Lions are known for getting good catchers. Hi, Tomoya Mori.
Yeah, good catchers who crush. But we will now kick it over to the final team in our Around the Horn, the last place team, but a team that might also be on the upswing, the Chiba Lotte Marines. Take it away, Mike.
For the Marines, in terms of their offseason signings, they got all foreign pitchers in their signings this year. Andre Jackson over from the Bay Stars, Sam Long, who spent his last 2 seasons with the Royals, and Jose Castillo, who spent 2025 with the Diamondbacks, Mets, Mariners, and Orioles. I would have liked to see perhaps another bat in the lineup. I think maybe at this point, with the way the stadium just seems to just kill power anymore, I would think maybe try to get a foreign batter that can maybe hit for average, maybe like a foreign slap hitter, or I mean, though to be fair, Japan has no shortage of slap hitters, but just something I think might work. I believe Neftali Soto loses his foreign player status this season, so I would have liked to see them make an attempt at getting possibly another bat. And speaking of Neftali Soto, he was announced as a new team captain this year. And when I looked into it, as that got announced, I believe it was a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, I tried to see if there was any other foreign players that were team captains. I really couldn't find. Every website I had that specifically tracked team captains only went back to around the late 90s, and I didn't really see any. I assume that there has to have been at least a couple others over the course of the Pacific League, but nothing I was able to find.
I think the only one that comes to mind is Alex Ramirez, who, again, Hall of Famer, good company, also with the Bay Stars.
So you have a website for team captains?
Japan's got a website for everything.
All right.
I was shocked when I saw it too.
And so that brings us to the end of today's show. We were just doing a bit of a recap to get you guys all caught up to speed with how the offseason went and give you a little bit of a WBC preview. In the coming weeks, we will recap the WBC and do a more of a deep dive formal preview of the Pacific League season. But as ever, thank you for listening. Please like, comment, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff, and we'll see you next time on the podcast. And happy baseball season, everybody. Take care.
We made it! We made it through the offseason! Let's go!
Woo! Bow, bow, bow.